the national parks. Beautiful, stunning, wild. Call them whatever you want. There's a reason why over 312 million people visit the national parks per year. And we're a part of that group. We love visiting these places so much. It's one of our favorite things to document and to share with you online. Until now. It turns out that filming footage like this, and this, and this, and then uploading it to YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, or any other platform can land you with a hefty fine and possible jail time.
I've made a huge mistake.
And before you comment, I don't make money online, this won't affect me, you're wrong. It absolutely does. And that's why we're making this video, to set the record straight. And it's not just for the national parks, by the way. It's for any land managed by the entire federal government. That means BLM, National Forest, national monuments, basically anything in the 640 million acres that the government owns, which is 28% of the entire country. So in this video, we're going to go over the rules that were changed in October 2022 and what that means for you and what we can do to help overturn this law. Let's go. Okay, first let's set up some context. Back in 2021, the national parks had a rule set in place that if you were going to do any commercial activity, you would need a permit. And that's totally fine, but the permits were created for these big commercial productions like Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and all of this social media stuff was sort of in the gray area, and a lot of people who were going into the parks weren't getting permits. And that all changed a couple of years ago when a couple of big creators went into the national parks, they filmed, and then they got in trouble for not having a permit, and the National Park Service said, "You're making money on YouTube, you need to pay for a commercial permit." Thus, all of this drama started happening. And the thing is their equipment wasn't huge. It's a camera just like this, and it was them. They're filming just like any other visitor in the national parks would. But the only thing that was different was they had a big YouTube channel. So fast forward, and there is this filmmaker who is filming a small documentary in a Yorktown battlefield in Virginia. So it's not even a national park, it's just a battlefield. And he got in trouble for not obtaining a permit. The National Park Service said, you need a commercial permit for filming in this battlefield. So he decided to sue them. And he sued the National Park Service, stating that they were hindering his free speech and he should be allowed to film in the national parks. Well, it went to court, and in 2021, the U.S. District of Columbia issued the decision Price versus Barr, determining that the permit fee requirement by the National Park Service for commercial filmmaking was unconstitutional. And small productions like us and other small creators could go inside the national park once again and film. This meant that if you were a crew of 5 or less, you could go inside the national park with a camera and a tripod and film. As long as you had common sense and you were abiding by the rules, you weren't taking a tripod and blocking up the whole path, or you weren't scaring off the wildlife, everything was hunky-dory, as long as you were filming like a visitor. Normal camera, normal tripod, you're not bringing in all of this huge filmmaking equipment. So 2021 was great up until October, until this 3-judge panel decided to reverse the ruling, and now the ruling states that if you do any video activity inside the parks or any other federal land, it is deemed commercial unless it's for personal use.
Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way.
Okay, I need to hop back in here for a second because I made a statement a little earlier about this not just pertaining to just the national parks. And I know I keep referencing the iconic places like Yosemite, but these rules apply to all federal lands, which makes up about 28% of the United States. Even if the place that you're filming isn't the subject of the content, you are still legally required to have a permit. For example, we lived in our van for a pretty long time, and we mostly stayed in national forests and on BLM land. We'd film videos of our daily lives for YouTube and upload a lot of Insta stories from those places. Technically, all of that would require a permit. And you may be asking yourself, why? Well, back in 2000, it was deemed that the management of all 4 branches of the federal land should abide by the same laws. I mean, you yourself can go to websites like USDA.gov and you can look at the rules regarding permitting on these lesser known public lands like national forests. Look, we've done a lot of research in this, but we're not lawyers, so if you are a lawyer, please correct us if we're wrong. But you can go see for yourself on the Forest Service and BLM sites that a paid permit is required. And the not so fun fact is that both BLM and Forest Service actually have 2 fees for permits, not just 1. The price isn't even listed on the website, but it is worth noting that they're taking this very seriously too. So you have people like us who upload to YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. Now we have to go get a permit, but here's the catch though. Anybody that uploads to Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, any platform that makes money can get in trouble. Why? Because remember when you signed up for that platform and then you read through all the terms and services? The platform is still making money on ad revenue on your content, even though you're not seeing a dime. And it doesn't matter the intent on which you film the video, it's still commercial. I really want to hone in on this for a second because this is the craziest thing about this entire law. Just because you don't make money on social media doesn't mean that you are exempt from the law. Even if you have 2 followers on Instagram, you are still liable to these rules because technically Instagram itself is making money on your content. So this means that your grandma who's taking a really cool photo of a flower in the national park is making commercial content for Instagram. You may never see a penny of that profit, but that doesn't mean that it's not commercial. That's crazy. And so if you've made it this far into the video, you may be saying to yourself, dude, what is the big deal? Just go get a permit already. It's easier said than done. So surprisingly, I have internet out here and I'm gonna log on to the National Park Service website. And we're gonna go through the permit process. Which camera do I look at? All right, so we're right here on the National Park Service website and we can scroll down. This website is for all national parks. When is a permit needed for commercial filming? Under the federal law, all commercial filming that occurs within a unit of the national park system requires a permit. All right, so this is a blanketed statement. This is required for any of the national parks. So what do they consider commercial filming? Commercial filming means the film, electronic, magnet, digital, or other recording of a movie image by a person, business, or other entity for a market audience with the intent of generating income. Examples include, but are not limited to, feature film, videography, and documentaries. Okay, nothing about Instagram, TikTok, YouTube in that statement. That is really for these big kind of movie productions, right? This makes sense. It's a big production. You need to get a permit to go through that. But then if we go to the second tab, does commercial filming by individuals or small groups require a permit? Federal law requires a permit for all commercial filming, no matter the size of crew or the type of equipment. This includes individuals or small groups that don't use much equipment, but generate revenue by posting footage on websites such as YouTube and TikTok. The primary focus of the National Park Service, however, is on a commercial filming that has the potential to impact the park resources and visitors beyond what occurs from normal visitor use of park areas. So this is a blanketed rule for all the national parks. Like, again, this website is for every entire national park. So when I read that, I read, yeah, you can come in and film, and if you post to YouTube and TikTok, you better not have a big channel or make money on it because you do need a permit. But we probably won't come after you. It's really ambiguous, right? So here's the part. How do I apply for a permit? Permit applications are available through each park's administrative office or website. So that means this, I can't just go to nps.gov. I've got to go to nps.gov and then find the actual website for each individual park that I want to film in. So let's just say I want to film in Yosemite. So we're here on Yosemite and let's do this. What fees do I have to pay for a permit? Right here. So already I have to pay $200 for film projects that involve 1 to 2 people. It's me and Sarah. We have 2 cameras and a tripod. So this is just for the application to send to the National Park Service. So we have to pay $200 if we're even thinking about filming in Yosemite. that's fine. All right, let's do that. So if we scroll down right here, you can see that the actual permit for us cost $0 since we only have 2 people. Now, if we have 3 people, then it goes up to $150 a day, 11 to 30 people, then the price gets higher and higher. So technically, all we have to do is pay $200 for the application fee, and then they decide whether we can film there or not. So how do we get them the money? So in order to submit the permit, they will not accept any credit cards at this time. We have to send an envelope to the Yosemite National Park Service with a check, a written check. And then I need to take that application, put it in an envelope, find a checkbook, because we all have those lying around, send my application with payment in mail. Then I need to go ahead and take all those documents that I sent via mail with the check, and I need to email them to the National Park Service. And then once the email and all the documents are shipped out, you just wait. So you can plan an entire trip to Yosemite or any other national park, and it could be derailed at the last minute because you're waiting for this permit, and then all of a sudden whoever's looking at the application says, you know what, I don't like what you're filming, so I don't want you to film this. And then your entire trip is just canceled. And that's just for Yosemite. If you go to each individual park, they're all different. Some require 30 days notice. Some parks you just need 10, 20. It's different park per park. It's not the same. The permit system is broken and it needs to be fixed. And on the website, they say, fill out this form or email us if you have any questions. So we did way back in December, and we're still waiting for the reply, and it's now March. And here's the interesting thing. This only applies to video making. So you could go into the national park with the same camera, same setup, and take photos. Actually, better yet, I have my phone right here, and I have it on photo mode, and I can take a photo in the national park, just like that. There we go. And A-OK, National Park Service is not going to come after me. But as soon as I put it to video mode, start filming myself, just like this, and then upload that to social media, they could get me for that. Same equipment, same process. So instead of doing a YouTube channel, we could open up a blog and just throw all our photos in a blog and make money that way. And in the eyes of the National Park Service, that's okay to make money from, but it's not okay to make money from videos unless you have a permit. Look, we're not trying to be the bearer of bad news. We're just sharing with you what we know to save yourself the headache of getting that dreaded phone call from the government saying, you've broken the law.
You shout like that, they put you in jail right away. No trial, no nothing.
Now look, I know there's probably a lot of you out there saying, can't you millennials just visit a national park without filming the entire thing? And the answer is yes, we can. We ourselves have been to 28 national parks, and we've only filmed 10 of them. And we film and share them partially because we love creating and we love documenting our family memories, but we also share them publicly because we know that YouTube is a way that many people can travel to places they may never see because of a physical limitation or the inaccessibility of a lot of these places in the parks. And social media isn't all bad. It can be used for a force of good when used correctly, like encouraging people to visit the parks responsibly. Look, we agree that places shouldn't be exploited with infinite geotags and detailed instructions on how to get to locations A, B, and C. These are wild places that should be explored, not exploited. Social media can be used as a force of good and a tool for learning about things like leave no trace and wilderness safety. And in fact, we called a national park just the other day in California, and we said, hey, the rules are kind of weird on your website. Are we allowed to film in there? Like, what's the deal? And the national park ranger said, you can come in and film. We're probably not gonna get you for that. Like, we understand. It's okay. That doesn't fly with me because we've been reported twice to the FAA, and both times it was an overzealous troll who was just trying to watch the world burn. But this is a prime example of how we had a park ranger tell us we can go in and film and they're probably not gonna get us. In reality, somebody on the other side of a screen could report that video, and then the National Park Service is breathing down my neck, even though I asked permission first. We are all for following the rules, and we are all for a permit system in place, but it needs to work. So here's the deal. In order to get this changed, we need to let as many people know as possible. So whether you want to share this video or you want to just tell your friends about it, it's worth people knowing. Number 2, we've made it super easy to get in contact with your representative. So we have this entire letter. You can click the link down below. It's super easy, and we're not asking for your email. We're not asking for anything in return. We just want a better system in place so we can enjoy the national park. We genuinely love going and showcasing the beautiful, beautiful landscape that is this country. We'd love to know your thoughts. Leave your comments down below, and hopefully we'll be filming in a national park again soon. See you guys. For behind the scenes and extra content, you can head on over to our Patreon community. Otherwise, be sure to follow on Instagram or like and subscribe here. It really helps creators like us.